Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Southwest NASCAR Sim Series live stream. Sorry about the slight delay in audio, but um, I evidently didn't have my mic working, so whoops. But as I was saying that you guys didn't hear, tonight's race is race number 16 from the Darlington Speedway. It's the oldest track in NASCAR, and so we get set to run uh, 92
You're
laps from there.
They're still not picking up my sound, buddy. I'm looking at it and it said sound thing and it said disabled. You got to go back into it.
Dude, I did.
Did you? I think you
Yes,
turned on your mic.
I did.
Oh.
And then I turned the desktop audio. Anyhow, Coaster leads by 95 points. A little more than he was over Emily Winters
I'll just fix it.
at the end of the last race, but again, pretty much second on back. They're pretty close. While say Flashy may not be able to take second, he is going to be able to move up a lot of spots if he finishes well in the race today. So yeah, and then there's your point standings, and let's get down to the racetrack for today's activities.
Stream Discord too. Don't forget to do
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm doing now.
All right. Okie dokie smoky. God, this chair's broken.
Knowing on Discord, it's probably not gonna detect frickin' NR2003.
That does not say you are playing NR2003.
Not detecting the game yet.
Being unfortunate.
45-second delay, yeah. Alright, now I gotta turn my audio off. Okay.
God, first it was game problems a couple days ago. Now it's just problems in general.
It's me being stupid and also Discord being dumb.
That's true.
But I mean, Discord was dumb before, like when we tried to start it up the first time yesterday, or no, Sunday. But yeah, see if this time it wants to recognize life. No game detected.
I can hear my freaking everyone yelling downstairs. Oh, my family.
I am. If I go to game activity, not seeing your game, add it. NR2003 straight up doesn't show up.
It's being a big dumb.
I think last time all it took was waiting it out a little bit, but we're trying to open overlay from in game.
We would try Xing it out from adding or in games and not seeing a game added again. Try that, or because it's already down on your added games, so just
I know.
hovering it hit X or something. I don't know.
Do this. Add a game. There we go. I guess that works.
Yeah, it's working.
Whatever we have to do, apparently.
Yeah, it's working now. There we go. Join stream. All right, we're good.
Not
ISM.
quick race. I'm smart. Championship. It's gonna be the Southern 500. Yes, technically there already was a race that happened here, but
but we're not counting that one.
It doesn't count. And also, evidently, there's some schedule things that I'm gonna have to fix before we move on, because Homestead apparently doesn't appear on the schedule.
That's alright. We'll fix that after.
Yeah. Anyhow, let's get down to the racetrack for practice.
Oh, well, we already know what to expect from this race. The outside lane is going to die. You really got to be on that white line, because if you're on the outside, you're in the wall.
Yeah, you got to be extremely careful, and we've seen that all. We saw that in the race that didn't happen and test races and stuff. It just seems that the cars love to not give each other space, and if you end up on the outside lane, you might be screwed. But
Yep.
we'll see.
Just a reminder, we probably won't be able to go back and look at replays, just because it seems to break the game when we do that.
Yeah. It may have to do with the camera angles that I was trying to use, but
Maybe.
I think I'll just stick to my usual helicopter angle for replays, and we probably will only take one look at each rack. So, but 10 out of 10 NASCAR Heat 3 camera, am I right?
Yeah.
Let's get forward to the race. Well,
I'm going to say robots getting the pole. Someone's already in the wall. You can hear it.
Yep. We're not forward to the race. And unfortunately, I won't be able to, what's it called? I won't be able to accelerate time. We have to go through it manually.
Drivers,
just because
to your car.
last time we tried accelerated time, things happened. On the pole for today's race, the number 25 of Robot Spider. P2 going to the 14 of Ryan Boyer in the Haas Automation Ford Mustang. Row 2 sees the number 24 Exalta Chevrolet Camaro of George Uriarte. And then the number 54 Caltrans Dodge Challenger of Coaster Enthusiast. Then in fifth place is the number 13 Twisted T Ford Mustang of Matt Wynn, and then rolling off in 6th, row 3, the 11 of Ben Pierce, the FedEx Toyota Camry. Then it's the 19 Xbox Dodge, the number 19 Xbox One Dodge Challenger of Sharon Kyle, and rolling off in 8th, row 4 today, the number 99 Aflac Ford Mustang of James Yangerman. Rolling off 9th in row 5 is the number 8 of DNP 10 in the Steam and Valve Toyota Camry. Then the 39 of Ad rolls off 10th. That's the GameStop Chevrolet Camaro. Rolling off 11th in the black number 22 Duracell Toyota Camry is none other than Sam Blaney. And then the 44 Disney Toyota Camry of Creeper of Hope rolling off in 12th. Row 7 sees the 12 DC Solar car of none other than Parker, and then the number 4 YouTube Ford Mustang of Muse Better. Rolling off 15th today is the number 18 of Ad in the M&M's Toyota Camry, and then it's Greenwich Talonflame in the Baja Blast Chevrolet Camaro, and Build, take it away for the rest of the order.
I believe that is 17th place is Bang Energy Chevrolet Camaro. That is Brian Anders in that 3 car. In 18th place, the Miller 26 Ford Mustang of Matthew Nile. Forgot the name for a second there. Behind him is the 7 Pepsi Toyota Camry of Carlos Tavares, and then the 61 PPG Paints Chevrolet Camaro of Cole McElmoyle, the 27 Billings Gazette Ford Mustang of Garrett Schima, and then the 5 Maine Fire Department Ford Mustang of Payson Avery, the 2 Monster Energy Assault Ford Mustang of Matt Vanswicki, the 15 Monster Energy Chevrolet Camaro of Emily Winters, the 1 Budweiser Chevrolet Camaro of Max Weisner, the 42 Credit One Bank Chevrolet Camaro of Brandon Delpino, the 9 Valvoline Ford Mustang of Chris Ganaban, the 77 Boring Company Dodge of Flashy McClashy, the 88 Mountain Dew Chevrolet Camaro of Winterwolf, and rounding out this field, is the 10 Napa Auto Parts Toyota Camry of Ben Navarro / Light Yagami.
So now that we've gone through the field, I can quickly, I don't know, I hit pause there, but I'm going to turn the sound back up so that we can actually hear things. I just turn it down because the helicopter cam is so annoyingly loud. We've got a full minute till the command predictions for today's race. Are you sticking with what we had in the race that didn't happen, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my predictions and who I've been predicting even through the crashed races. I'm still sticking with that 22 Duracell Toyota Camry. Sam Blaney, the lady in black, he's in a black car. Blaney's getting it done today.
Just quickly making sure I save the qualifying results because I don't feel like announcing the qualifying results again. So if this race crashes, we can just pop right back in with qualifying results. Mew says
Parker?
stuff. I think Mew's gonna go with Parker in the 12 to win this race. Or either that or he's not pleased with him. I'm gonna stick with my pick.
Drivers, start your engines!
Command was just given to fire engines, but I'm sticking with my pick to win this race. I think Ben's got a good car, and he's starting up near the front, so I think he gets the win today.
It's never a bad thing. We saw in the race where it was just a 2-car pull away between the 22 and the 3. That it's not necessarily the cars up front that are going to dominate this race. We've seen the 25 Robot Spider. He's had struggles throughout the year. So, starting on pole maybe isn't a very good omen. So you might see guys mid-pack like the 19, the 8, maybe even the 12 get up there and really be able to take control of this race. Because this racetrack is so hard to pass.
Want to know something interesting?
What?
One of the last times that the Southwest NASCAR Roblox series made its way through the Darlington Speedway, and actually I think it was even the first time, the number 8 of DNP went to victory lane, so maybe something good gonna happen in this race too.
I have to see. It'll be interesting.
And then come to the Geico restart zone. Green flag flies. We're underway. As mentioned in the pre-race, a lot of cars getting into that outside wall, and that is not uncommon for this racetrack. So much cars have gotten in the walls in the past that instead of like at most tracks where it's kind of discouraged.
Oh, we got one around off of 4, I think. We do.
Oh, the 10 and the 77. Caution comes out.
Just off the side of the screen, I just saw someone pound the outside wall, and then I heard tires screeching off of 4.
I heard the tires screeching as well, but I didn't see the spin. But we'll take a look at that in a moment after everybody comes to the service of pit road. But as I was saying, getting into the wall here is so common that they've actually given a nickname to it, and that is earning your Darlington stripe. So much so that I guess Jeff Gordon, after one race, somehow managed to win the race, and when confronted by Dale Earnhardt Sr., the Intimidator, after the race, he was asked if he had hit the wall at least once during the race, to which I believe Jeff Gordon replied no, and Dale Sr. said, "You weren't driving hard enough."
I don't know if that's exactly how it went. From what I heard, it was I believe it was Gordon and Earnhardt, but I think Gordon, since he'd won the race and he was happy he didn't hit the wall, he went up to Earnhardt and he was so happy about it, and that's when Earnhardt said he wasn't driving hard enough. So we always hear drivers say that this is one of their favorite racetracks. It's obviously one of the hardest racetracks, but you almost want to hit the wall at some point in this race, just to show that you were driving hard. But obviously you don't want to drive too hard, put it in the fence, and then take the toe out of it or something like that. So
Well, there's not a lot of space here, and that's part of the reason too why they run up in the wall. And as I had been saying in the pre-race of the race that didn't count, um, the fact that the apron of this racetrack was originally going to be the intended racing surface, and the banking was actually supposed to be an emergency runoff area, but being banking, the drivers found it faster to run up there than on the flat surface of the racetrack, and you see the problems that it has created because of the small space. Now, in this wreck, it just seems that the 10 and the 15 went 3 wide. The 78 had to back out because he got into the wall, and the 15 came down the racetrack into the 10, or the 10 came up into the 15, gets into the outside wall, and then the 77 ends up running over him. Pretty
just
simple.
came together at a bad spot.
It's just, and we've seen this at other racetracks too, where coming off of those turns, you're 3 wide, and you either get loose or you can't hold the bottom lane, and you end up getting into another car, sending both of you into the wall. And that's definitely going to be something for these guys to watch out for. Lap 5 of 92. And the race leader is none other than Coke 600 winner George Uriarte. And another thing to note is there are certain races on the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series schedule that are considered by the drivers to be kind of crown jewel events, kind of like in horse racing, the Kentucky Derby or the Preakness Stakes, if you will. In NASCAR, it's obviously the Daytona 500, the Daytona 500 being the Great American Race, and then you have the Coke 600, which is the longest race of the season on the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series schedule, it being 600 miles as opposed to the usual 400 or 500, and then another race that drivers seem to view as a race that is a must-win in your career, the Southern 500, and part of that is due to the fact that this racetrack is one of the hardest tracks to race. It's nicknamed the track Too Tough to Tame, and as mentioned in pre-race, it's also the oldest track currently on the NASCAR schedule. George Uriarte has won one of those crown jewel events already this season, winning at Charlotte for the Coke 600. We'll see if he'll add another one to his list, or to his resume of won races, but he's got plenty more time to lose it. Green flag flies, we're back underway, coming to lap 7 of 92.
Remember what I said in the pre-race? Guys, front to mid pack, could really dominate this race. Well, 3 of those cars that I had brought up was the 19, the 8, and the 22. Right now they're sitting 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Just seems interesting. And right now the 19 is diving under the 13 for 2nd place. He's most likely going to hit the wall and lose many positions, or he just backs out.
Well, now the
Nah, he's
13
on the
gets into
ball.
the outside wall, but he's seeming to really, for the most part, be able to keep out of it. But I don't know that that's going to stay the case as he remains on the outside lane.
There he goes.
And you just have, if you're getting into the outside wall, you gotta find a way to make it to the inside lane. And it just seems that with the way these races have been going, it just seems that the field stays close enough together that once you find yourself on the outside lane, you're not going to be up front for very long because everybody's going to get by on the inside. And now we've got a challenge for the lead. Here comes the 19 of Gerard Kyle. He'll drop to the inside, got that car hooked up, and he'll take the lead away from the 24. And George Uriarte can't get it out of the wall. Caution will come out. Big wreck at turn 3.
Oh, that is big.
That is a huge incident. And piling on late, I couldn't see who that was.
13, the 10, the 88, 26.
But that's going to be the end of the day for a lot of guys.
That was a big wreck. Oh, the 15. The 15 was in it. That's going to be huge for points. The 8 of D&P was in it. Oh, my goodness. That's a quarter of the field. The 24 looks like he's pitting for damage repairs. I'll have to take a look and see. That looked like the big one from Talladega. That was pretty big.
Well, and speaking of Talladega, we're going to be at Talladega in just 2 races. That's some... And so some of these drivers definitely wanting to get good point stays out of a race like this where it's not a plate race. But as you were saying, a big wreck like Talladega, that's definitely got to hurt the confidence of some of these guys who need to have those big point stays.
Oh, absolutely, because everyone has Talladega circled on their calendar, and not for a good reason either. Everyone, or most drivers know, if not everyone knows, that they probably won't make it through that race, because we're going to have a big one at some point. So everyone's trying to get their points in this race and our upcoming race at Watkins Glen. And everyone's desperate, especially up towards the front, like the 15, that they're just trying to get as many points as they can, trying to keep up with that 54.
So remember,
and things like this happen.
So remember how we were talking about getting stuck on the outside lane?
Yeah.
This is exactly what happens with the number 4. And he lets up the inside lane to the number 4. Muse Better takes the position away from him. I believe that was for 8th. The initial pass was for 8th. The 4 getting underneath the 44. And then Creeper of Hope, the driver of that Apple 44 car, he ends up in the outside wall. And he's in the wall the entire corner. That car gets slowed up so much so that you can see the speed difference between that 44 and the rest of the field. They're significantly faster. And he's going to end up holding up this 26.
And now didn't really have a choice. He had the 9 coming to the inside. Now he had the 42 coming to the inside.
42 comes to the inside. He holds up the 26. And Winterwolf makes contact with the 26. But then I don't know if it was air on the 26 getting into the turn. But the 88, unable to actually get the car turned, runs into the back of the 44.
And Robot Spider, Cole McElmoyle, and Adrian D did a great job trying to avoid that. Adrian might have a little bit of damage on the right side of his car, but for the most part, he'll be all right. the 61 and 25 really dodge a bullet, especially that 61 sitting 5th in points right now.
And the
He
big
needs a good points
issue
day.
that really starts this wreck is the fact that the part of the wall that the 44 hits after the 88 runs into him is that safer barrier, and it sends him just a tiny bit back out onto the racetrack, and the 88 goes completely around, collects the 8 of DNP, and then, as you were saying, the 61 and 25 make good wreck avoidances on the inside lane, but Ad's gonna get tagged here by the 8, and you saw, and then Carlos Tavares gonna pile in,
Yeah,
and
Tavares was almost sideways.
that's gonna actually end up sending the number 8 car almost nearly head on into the outside wall. And man, you love to see that the safer barrier does its job. And then Emily Winters plows into the 44. Nowhere for her to go.
She's not had a good last couple of the races.
And that just straight destroys the front end of that race car. And you can already see the smoke plowing for the front end of that 15. And I guess the 8 coming off the wall collects the 13. And you also saw another car in that as well. Behind the 15, that was 10 of Light Yagami. And I hit play, and the stream just straight up died.
The game broke because the stream ended. Or the Discord stream. You broke the game.
Yeah. Whoops.
Oh my god.
Hey, at least the qualifying saved. Restore the saved race weekend for the current event. Yes. So at least we have that.
Yeah, but oh god, that sucks. Don't forget to stream Discord. There you go.
But still, even though that may not be what we see in the actual race now, that is something that these guys definitely want to watch out for.
And you can't accelerate the race, so we got to restart it. Darlington is not nice NR2003. You can't do anything.
Well, I think it's not necessarily that it isn't nice to NR2003. I think it's more so that it's not nice to recording.
Could be that too. Is NR2003 a spasm? Spasm? Ugh.
It's having a spasm, and the unfortunate thing is I can't do nothing about it. Except escape full screen and wait for 5 minutes. So I guess, yeah.
So, how's the weather?
The weather is great down here in California. You know, it's fiery, and actually it's not. It's sunny. But let's just give it a month. California will set itself on fire again this year. We'll get out of a couple days of school, you know, the usual.
Yeah, our snow days are your smoke days.
It always seems to happen right around those first couple of weeks or so of October when the United States holds their PSAT testing. That's right about when people seem to think, or when California seems to think that it's a good idea to light itself up.
Yeah.
Fires, the official natural disaster of California. Except that earthquakes are also a thing. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, earthquakes too.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? Earthquakes can cause fires. 1906, it's known as the Great Earthquake in San Francisco, but it's also known as the San Francisco Earthquake and Fire. And a lot of San Francisco burned.
Yeah, well, you guys are getting freaking forest fires. We're getting tornado warnings,
and the sad thing is, we have a lot. Because of that, there have been a lot more building codes and stuff that have been introduced since. And yet California is still having fire issues. But I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles, am I right? And in other news, the upcoming schedule for this season's Sim Series, next weekend will be coming at you, or this weekend will be coming at you live from the road course in Watkins Glen, New York, for the I Love New York 350, or no, it's the Gold Bowling at the Glen. Gold Bowling
should be a good race. We've had a couple of road courses so far, but I mean, you know, nothing so drastic points-wise anyway. I mean, Indy, it was a Honda Indy Toronto. It was a rough race on especially Emily Winters in the point standings, but we're getting down to the last 4 or 5 races, and road courses within the last couple of races are sketchy, so I don't know. It's going to be an exciting race.
Well, I think we all at this point just want to be done with Darlington.
Yeah, I think if it crashes again, we should just go to a different track because, we just want to get this done.
You know what? One replay. And okay, we'll do replays, just no real time. Because I think that's what screwed me.
Yeah, just don't click the play button. How about that?
Which, that may mean slow replays, but yeah.
It's better than crashing the game, so
no
we can at least get
replays
this
and no
done.
race. Let's go trackside for the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
Nothing like restarting a race a couple of times, eh? Haven't we had to do that once or twice for Roblox? Which, the nice thing about Roblox is the fact that you don't lose an entire race if the game crashes. Because it's online. Speaking of which, Bill, do you have any points updates concerning the Roblox series? Bill?
Sorry? What'd you say?
Any points updates concerning the Roblox series?
Oh, Roblox. Well, Pace and Avery had just won this latest race on Roblox, so that shakes off the points quite drastically. Not top 8 wise, but everyone stayed in the top 8 to make the chase. But Pace and Avery jumped from about 5th place to 2nd because he has the same amount of wins as Winter, and he has almost 200 more points. So Payson winning that race at Chicagoland yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. It really shook up the points. He was better, gained a spot on DNP_10. So he moves to 5th in points. DNP has dropped to 6th. Emily is 1 point back at DNP now for 6th place. And Parker is on the bubble with 168 points, just 37 ahead of Chiron Kyle in 9th.
Cars in the outside wall. And this is game being nice. And by nice, I mean that.
I think they're 4 wide.
They might have been 4 wide.
They were for a moment.
And now they're gonna be back 3 wide. Contact!
Oh, there goes.
Oh, the 5 manages to keep it going. Matthew Nile put him in the wall. The 77 all the way on the grass, the apron. And they managed to save that.
That was insane.
44 gets stuck up on the outside wall. And the leaders have pulled away.
once again, it's the 3 of Brian Anders. He's up
20
there.
25
Oh my gosh,
is your
25.
race leader. I don't think the 24 ever passed him.
I thought the 3 was the leader, but
now
oh
they're
my god.
side by side for second. The 13 trying to get around George Uriarte for position number 2, and he will.
He's in the wall.
But the race leaders have kind of pulled away, and it all goes back to really Brian Anders, who is the furthest car back, and I think he may end up losing the draft off the 99, fall to the clutches of 39, but still, the race leaders are in a bit of a world of their own right now.
Yeah, and we saw that in the races on Sunday too. The leaders would just pull away by a couple seconds and no one would ever be able to close on them. It was really down to about a 2-horse race, but as of right now, it's about a 10-horse race. First to 10th is spread out by about 10 seconds, and then behind them, 11th is about 2 seconds back of them. So
look at the size of the damage on the right side of that 24 car. You'll probably see it better in turns 3 and 4 here when the camera's actually on the right side of the car. But, that's a significant. Oh, problems!
Oh,
there goes the 2!
9's
They
in the wall.
save
They
it!
save it. No caution.
How? The 9 gonna come back up the racetrack. The 2 as well, but nobody gets damage.
No
what
caution.
A save! We talked earlier in the year about save of the year from the 15 at Dover. You'll almost wonder if that might just be save of the year.
Oh, the
they're
26 off
spinning
of 4.
again!
They
The
save it again.
26 gets loose, and yet they don't wreck again.
Wow.
My goodness!
No, there's no caution. The
No
26
caution,
is
the 26. I
heavily
almost
damaged.
wonder if something's wrong with this 26 car, because he's quite slow.
Yeah.
And I think he might be coming to pit road this time. Something's wrong with that 26 that possibly could have brought out a caution if they had actually wrecked, but.
And with all this going on, first to 10th went from 3 seconds to almost 5.5. At 25 and 13 are just pulling
And
away.
look at this,
With
the race leaders have just run away.
All these problems are causing the guys in the back to check up more than they'd like, and they're just losing time on these leaders.
And now you gotta wonder, as the 26 is now off track, presumably on pit road, but you have to wonder how much are these drivers going to be willing to put into it, knowing the risks quite well now, and also, are they going to be able to deal with the consequences if another driver on the racetrack ends up wrecking them, or as well, because of the way we've seen this field kind of spread out so far on this run, what happens when the race leaders hit lap traffic?
Well, it's just going to be a cluster when the leaders are going to hit lap traffic. But if I'm that 22 car, you're just thinking, okay, I got almost 5 seconds over at least the car in 10th, and the 54 is nowhere to be seen in the top 10. He is just under 100 points behind Coaster Enthusiast for first place in points. So if I'm that 22, I'm just sitting there. I don't want to make a move on that 8 car because you know it might cost you. It might even put you in the outside wall. You don't want to get damage on your car. So if I'm him, I'm just sitting there lugging laps, hoping for this thing to end one of these times.
Oh, by the way, those last couple of laps, the 13 was trying to go side by side, and you see it again there. This 13 wants the race lead, but what has that done to the 13 and 25's gap to the 8? Completely erased it.
Yep. And you know the 22's just there like, oh, please don't get racy. He just wants to go, or he just wants this to be single file so no one hits the wall and there's nothing that could potentially hit him. He's just trying to hit his marks and race his race right now.
Now the 8 of DNP is in a position where he could possibly take away second. You see him closing in those turns. You almost wonder if one of those turns the 8 doesn't possibly step out, try to make a move?
Well, that's not what Sam Blaney wants to see, but if you're DNP, you really don't have anything to lose sitting back 15th place in points. You're just going for the win at this point in the season. It's going to be pretty hard to try to catch up to the points leaders. But yeah, if you're one of these three, well, if you're the 25, obviously you're going to try to keep that lead as far down as the 25 is in points. It's sitting 16th right now, but the 13 and the 8, yeah, why not? Go make a move. You know, there's not much to lose. I mean, you might as well go out there and try to win yourself a crown jewel, you know? So,
And
you might
as
see
we
these
say
three
that,
racing.
the 13 did get to the inside of the 25, but the 25 kind of blocked him, and there goes DNP to the bottom. The 13's run stalls out. DNP to take P2 away, and nearly making contact with the 22 as the 13.
That's not what the 22 wanted to see. He goes, few bullet dodged, but you just got to wonder if he's going to try to catch the 8.
The 22 almost experienced why 13 is considered by many Americans to be a bad or unlucky number.
Lapped traffic, by the way.
Yeah, I just noticed, and this 24 seems like he's been in the wall a lot.
44, yeah.
And I think he also was involved in the last incident where the 26 almost wrecked. Judging by the amount of damage to the left side of that race car. But race leaders catching lap traffic. We'll see if this plays into how this race has gone. This will be the first car lap down other than the number 26
Who's just ahead of him.
of Matthew Nile, who's 3 laps down and now gonna fall a 4th down. But oh, by the way, with that lap car being on the outside, that has just caused the 22 to try and possibly get a look at the way things are.
Well, Blaney knows he doesn't want to risk himself getting wrecked here in the position that he's in. He's almost 6.5 seconds ahead of the 3 car who's in 10th and no 54 to be seen. So he'll probably go for this race win depending if the 8 and 25 get damaged. Oh, here comes
DNP on the bottom for the race lead.
Well, the 8 get damaged, so later on in the race, I could probably see the 22 making a move, but it's just too early for that 22 to really try to win the race now.
The 22 gonna pick up P2 as well, and that 25 gonna fall all the way back. They're still side by side with lap traffic.
Lappers are blocking the track. These guys have nowhere to go.
And now you may start to see some people get a little bit heated with some of those lap cars. We saw it the last time we saw lead lap cars getting heated with lap cars was the other Crown Jewel event, Charlotte, where drivers were consistently being held up by none other than the 99, who was on the lead lap this race. Oh, car around! The 26 and the 3!
Oh,
Emily Winters piles in! Max Weissner involved as well!
Oh, we got one upside down. Ganaban's in it. The 11 with big damage. Got one upside down here in the middle of the corner.
And that will erase the lead. And there, as you mentioned, was the car upside down.
I think he's off track now. I think it was the 44 of Creeper of Hope.
It might have been the 78, actually.
Yeah, it might have been. Greninja Talonflame. Wow, what a terrible year for Gren.
Lap 23.
Man, that 50, yeah, it was the 78. Wow.
And it's for a big wreck.
Well, this year just couldn't get much worse for Gren. Although he's got a win at CTMP, he's sitting dead last in points, and what else happens? He gets wrecked probably in the 5th last race of the season.
Oh, so and Ben showing some displeasure for the number 12.
Yeah.
On pit road, and clearly he's got something to be upset about. Look at the amount of damage to the front end of that race car. Everybody gonna take advantage of pit road being open. They're gonna take the time to come down to the surface of pit lane.
Want to know who else this affects big time? Sharon Kyle. His engine is done. He's probably out of this race now. His engine was smoking. He's sitting 3rd in points right now. Behind him is Pace and Avery by only 6 points. Payson can just lug laps and finish this race, Payson might be able to take over P3 in point standings.
Oh, and speaking of Payson, he's gonna pick up a ton of spots on pit road.
Yeah, he knew
Look
that
at
19
that.
was out. He knew the
Beats
819
the
was out,
8.
so he used strategy.
He beats the 8, or not the 8, but he beats pretty much everybody off of pit road. Sam Blaney's gonna actually have to give that spot up to the 5. Payson did pass him on the exit of pit road, but why don't we take a look at this first caution of the night.
And it was huge.
It starts further up. Yeah, the 78 was the car that flipped.
Yeah.
Starts with the 26.
Oh, Ad turned him.
And there's going to be a heated discussion probably after this race between the 26 and the 39. Because Ad trying to get around him. And keep in mind, the 39 car is a lead lap car. He's trying to get around the 26 of Matthew Nile. This is for track position, not... This is for position... This is for track position, not a position on the racetrack, if you understand what I'm saying.
It's just to get ahead of the 26.
He just gets fed up with the 26, doesn't even give him a chance to race clean, and he just straight dumps him. And Matthew Nile going to come back up the racetrack, and as we've talked before, with the limited amount of space that there is available, he gets dumped, and then the 3 nowhere to go. He just piles in. The 15, she's far enough back, but
still gets into it.
She gets loose on the apron probably, and that's going to be her day up in smoke. And then look at Grant just barely gets tagged by the 3, and he goes all the way up. And the 9, who thinks he has this car saved, he's going to end up running into the roadblock that is the 78, and that sends him all the way up and over. The 1 runs in, the 42 gets involved.
A little bit of damage with the 1 car.
Got me coming through here at the last minute. Flashy McClashy.
We've retried this race, 5 times? I think Emily was in a wreck in every single one of them.
And then Ben Pye just ends up running over the 3.
He always calls them a racist Mexicans.
And as these guys stack up, this is now getting into the main pack. The 7 runs into the 18, stacks it up, and that's pretty much all she wrote.
Well, the 54 was in that pack. He was just trying to slow it down. Just keep it out of a wreck.
We're going to quickly pause, because they evidently restarted without us.
Well, the 5's a lapped car.
Interesting. 5 actually scored 1 lap down. Green flag back in the air. He's going to hope to get that lap back. 8 your race leader. Sam Blaney actually going to try and take that. Oh, it paused. I was scared there that it was.
I'm like, did it just crash?
I forgot I paused.
Just keep it live. It's fine.
Back live.
The 8's gonna probably be hit the wall here.
Now the 8's gonna get in the outside wall, and now Sam Blaney.
44.
And that could be a big issue because this 5 is a lap car. He's gonna take away that preferred line from the race leaders. He's gonna shake things up because the AI will treat those 2 will, even though it's not a pass for position, those 2 will race like it's a pass for position. And that could be big problems for the race leaders. as you see the 88 in the outside wall there, he's gonna fall all the way back.
44 with even more problems, as if this race couldn't get any more or any worse for him.
The 99 trying to get around the 12.
22 got around the 5. Oh, 5's on the wall.
And now look who's back up with a shot to win because of that caution flag. It's the number 13. They're
Now
gonna
the
be double
22's
filing the lapper, but everybody manages to get by. But early on these restarts, it's important to keep the car out of the wall because, by the way, look where your former race leader was.
back in 18.
Although we have a lot of cars out of this race, he's all the way back in 18. Cars out after that caution flag are the 19 with a clutch issue, the 11 officially retiring from the race, the 78 in the garage area due to an accident, the 3 of Brian Anders leaving this race early, the 15 as well, the 1 with a officially denoted as a clutch issue, the 9 retiring from this race, and understandably the 26 out as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised that 78's out. He went for quite a tumble off of turn number 2. But now it's up to the 22 to stay in front. Like I said, he's sitting second in points. He's got to hope that 13 doesn't get to his inside and put him in the wall, because that could drop him all the way back, and he needs as many points as he can to try to catch that 54, who is towards the back of the pack. I believe he's sitting in 14th spot right now. So it's a lot of points between 1st and 14th that if the 22 lets the 13 by, he's leaving on the table here. So it's going to be interesting to see if the 22 blocks.
And especially after seeing the second wreck of the first attempt at this race, we can't really count cars who hit the outside wall as necessarily out of it, because although them being slow on the wall may seem innocent, there's a genuine possibility that it leads to an enormous Talladega style wreck, much like what we saw only a few laps ago that took out a fair amount of cars. Basically the last 8 cars, the 8 cars currently scored 23rd through 40th, all out of this race. The 13 dropped to the inside, and here comes Matt Wynn, who, yes, I will make this pun again, trying to win in the Southwest NASCAR Sim Series.
22 does a relatively good job keeping it out of the wall. He still hit it a little bit, but I think he'll be all right as long as he can stay ahead of these two, which I don't think he will.
Y'all can start writing your "Please kill me now" comments and chat messages because of that horrible pun. Anyhow, the 3, because second place has gone side by side and the 22's kind of held everybody up, the 13 kind of pulled away there. He's got a 94,000 lead, or 9,400th lead.
9/10, yeah.
9/10 lead. But with the draft, the 39 here, who seems to be relatively unscathed, gonna have a shot at his 3rd win on the season. And boy howdy, would the 26 be extremely not happy if that were to come to fruition. Side by side back here, the 27 is getting held up, and the 22 just can't catch a break. He's been in the outside wall for almost 2 laps now, and oh, by the way, look who's making his way back up through the thick of things.
He's followed McElmoyle basically this whole run. He's just stayed on his bumper, and the 61's just been following the 4. They've been able to make it through, but look where that put the 22. Just from getting in that outside wall, letting the 13 past him, that's put him way outside the top 10, and look where the 54 is.
And here comes Cole McElmoyle. The 4 hit the outside wall and bounced off quite a bit, but doesn't make further contact with the 61 after that. And here comes the 8 looking to the inside of Daytona 500 winner Muse Better. So definitely, again, seeing once more that the outside wall is not your friend here at Darlington, but it's just been a theme. It's a theme of this racetrack, and it's a theme of this race that we've been seeing all night long, is that drivers unable to handle the adversity that comes with being in the wall almost every lap. And the 39...
one guy we've sorry to interrupt there, bud, but one guy we've kind of been sleeping on and who's making his way up is that 61 car. Look at him. He's up to 7th place. He hit the wall early on, was in the back for majority of this race. And all of a sudden, the 61 has come alive. He's moved into 7th spot. He's done a good job keeping out of the wall for the most part. And he's moving up. He's a silent assassin.
Currently scored approximately 6/6200th of a second behind that 54 car. And definitely, as we ride on board with him, you can see that gap closing. Clearly, the driver of this 61, Cole McLemoyle, doing something right. Whether it's communicating well with his team on getting what he needs on that last pit stop, or driving the wheels off this race car, but it likely won't be long before we talk about him. He was 62 tenths behind, now he's only 55 behind, and you can visually see the gap closing.
Yeah, that gap is closing. And also that car ahead is the 54. That's the points leader. You know, he's got that number circled, the guy he's going to try to stay ahead. So he sees that Dodge back bumper, and it's getting bigger and bigger every lap. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that 61,
Oh!
which is making its way through the field.
We might have a pass for the race lead. The 39, you saw it from on board the 61. Couldn't quite get to the right camera angle in time, but the 39 got to the inside on that 13 car, and he goes all the way to the back. And here, big hit in the wall for the 99. And that's going to allow the 2 to get past him.
Adrian D looking for his 3rd win of the year. Just made the pass for the race lead. He's had a decently strong car, but his car's really come alive in the last 10 laps.
Right now, I think the 22 car who's started this race out front for quite a majority of it, either that or the 8, really gonna benefit from those most laps led. We'll see who ends up with those 10 bonus points for leading the most laps at the conclusion of this race, but still.
Matt Banswicki, he hasn't had a great year either, sitting 25th in points right now. He's just lugging laps, just trying to end the season on a positive note, because there hasn't been much positive.
Big implications. The 13 comes to pit road. Do we see green flag pit stops? Because the 13 hits pit road, and I think that's the 42 as well. Yes, it is.
Well, the 42 is a lapped car. He wasn't up front. He was about to go a lap down.
And there are 2 pit signs towards the back that are down. So I think there may be some more cars ducking to the service of pit lane. The 99 comes in.
Gotta wonder if this is just strategy or whether they felt something in the car. That's a lot of signs coming down for that to just be, damage repair.
Whatever it is, it's likely an unscheduled stop because, much like the Daytona 500, I believe that all of these guys are going to be able to make it on one stop. But it would be interesting if they... you almost wonder if, based on how old the track surface is here, you may wonder if they're pitting for tires and not fuel.
Yeah, maybe they felt something unwinding in the right front, or something just wasn't right with those tires, but it just seemed like a couple of cars were having problems. Both of those cars that were noted were the 99 and 13. They were both Fords, so I wonder if something's going on in the Ford camp.
And as the rest of the field gets everything sorted out, the gap between the race leaders and the second position has grown to 3.04 seconds as we got another car on pit road. That's the 44 and the 10 are in. The 8 is down, or no, I think it was the 44 I saw. Somebody else.
Another car just entered pit road.
So maybe we might. It's the
12.
The 12 of Parker, who had been running up towards the front. The 2's gonna take the race lead away from the 39, but could we be seeing some green flag stops that will cycle through the entire field?
Yeah, well, most of those cars, besides the 13, for the most part, were kind of cars in the back. They were slower cars that really didn't have a shot at winning this thing. So, you gotta wonder if it's not just strategy. Maybe their pickers are thinking that these guys up front here can't
sideways!
make it. Oh, 7!
The 7 almost spun it off the turn 2 wall.
But anyways, you just gotta be thinking whether their crew chiefs were thinking maybe these guys couldn't make it to the end, and it was just a strategy call. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that, see if there's anyone starting to stumble in the later stages of this race.
Clearly, the 2 definitely has the car to beat. He's gonna pull away from the 39 of Ad here. Lap 59 of 92. And where have we seen a dominant car driven by Matt Vanswicki before? Oh yeah, that's right. It was Chicagoland.
And the winner of that race was sitting 4th right now.
Could Vanswicki get retribution for Chicagoland twofold and win here? We know he won the race after Chicagoland from the road course in Sonoma, California. Led all 25 laps of that race, but I don't wonder if this number 2 car...
Oh, he hit the wall.
He hits the wall all by himself.
He's just driving too hard.
That'll open the door now for the 39. Oh, here comes the 2. Here comes the 2 to pit road. The 39 takes the race lead. Now you'll also wonder, did they take fuel under the caution? Or did they just take tires?
You just gotta wonder if him hitting the wall, if they had a right front going down, he told his team immediately, or they're just coming down to repair some damage, because that's some pretty heavy damage on the right side.
And I saw another car, I think, on the apron.
Might have been the 60. No, it wasn't the 61. No, doesn't seem like anyone came in. I thought I saw somebody too.
No one came down that time, I think. And the 2 seems to be taking a bit of an extra long stop. You gotta wonder if that hit to the... Oh! Problem front straightaway! Around goes the 5. The 42 is in it. View is better. Will not finish this race without damage as well. But no caution comes out. We say green. And how many times has Muse spun during this season without a caution coming out?
I cannot believe there is no yellow flag on that. Those 3 full-on wrecked at the start.
My goodness.
The 39 just tapped the wall a little bit.
And oh, by the way, look who's in second.
That gap that the 39 and the 2 car had was over 3 seconds. Look at it now. Now it's a second and a half. Almost 2 seconds to third, 2.5 to fourth. Now over 3 to fourth, but Ad's got to get up on that thing. That 8 car is coming.
The 99 gonna try and get around the 24 here. This is for 5th. 22 hits the outside wall. He'll be slow. And Ryan Boyer, the winner from Dover, definitely not getting any smaller in the rearview mirror, that 22. Oh, and Payson Avery ducks to the surface of pit lane.
He was a part of that wreck with Mew. are definitely coming down to at least take tires, but that's some pretty heavy damage for both of those drivers. I don't know why there was no caution there.
We'll have to take a look after the race. And oh, but there. Speaking
61?
of cars coming to pit road, there comes the 61. The
I don't know
22 actually backed out of it. I think there was the 18 nearly spun it there. The 88 is on pit road. And I think there's someone else. Yeah, the 25 and the 27 ducked to the surface of pit lane. Still green.
Well, that's not just damage repair then. Then there is green flag pit stops. The 61 had a little bit of right side damage. Wasn't really holding back. He was sitting P4, so I guess it is just strategy call. The 54 seems really slow. I don't know if he just hit the wall, but that 99 caught him and just blew by him.
Looks like there's a bit of rear end damage to that 54 car. Take a look. And there comes the 8. Team P on pit road. That's second place.
Well, just coming off.
And race leader is currently Ad. At the moment, there's only 8 cars on the lead lap, and a caution now would be Ad's best friend. And
I think I hear spinning.
Speaking of which, caution does come out. Wreck.
Off
Wreck
turn
back
number
straight
2.
away. It's the number 4.
You didn't get it last time, but he got it this time. And that traps everyone except for the
24 was involved as well. Caution flies, laps 65 and 92.
Everyone but 8 cars are a lap down. Holy cow.
Pit road is open, and it seems that a lot of people are coming.
Yeah.
Race leader Ad gonna come to the surface of pit lane.
See, this is interesting now, because that traps everyone except for 8 cars lap down, but that traps everyone but 9 cars 2 laps down.
Let's see if any of the lead lap cars stay on the racetrack. The 54 comes in, the 22 is in, the 18 on pit road, the 14 ducks to the surface of pit lane as well. The 77 you see is in, and the number 2
just got his lap back.
Just got his lap back. I think everybody in this field is going to start ahead of the race leader. But let's take a look at what brings out caution flag number 2. Four of Muse better.
Now out of the race also.
The 18 got in the outside wall and the 4 just spun it. The 14 got a piece of it, but the big damage goes to the 24. Take one more look at it, and then we'll get back up to live race. This is coming off of turn 2. The 18 hits that wall right where the safer barrier ends, and it just upsets that race car, and it gets into the 4. The 4 spins it right, and then when he comes back into the 18, the 4 just gets completely sideways.
61 once again dodging a bullet here. He just missed it. Almost looked like the 24 might just come down and take him out, but the 4 being there.
24 narrowly he almost avoided it. If he had driven it a little bit more to the left, he might have been able to not pick up any piece of it. The 14 gets a minimal amount of damage, but he stays on the lead lap. What a strange turn of events.
Yeah.
laps 67 and 92. And
Still
with
only
those,
8 cars left.
39 is going to be the race leader, but he'll start towards the back. And in fact, all of these guys are still scored a lap down. The 8 and the 2 will be tail end of the lead lap.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, you're right.
But the 39 will start, so the 39 starts behind him. But everybody else scored a lap down. This could be chaotic for the race leaders. Because now not only does this may not have worked out as well as Ad had hoped, because he may be held up by lap cars that have damage, like this number 5 car who's on the inside lane, or even by cars that should be on the lead lap, like the 8 at 2 and 39. Pace car makes the hard left turn to pit road. Green light's on, signifying pit road is open, and it will remain open as we come to the more important set of green lights, the green flag. We're backing away here from Darlington.
Don't forget our leaders are on the outside lane. Some of them will probably pick up a substantial amount of damage on this restart.
A lot of double file action too could lead to another yellow flag for a wreck, because they say this all the time in iRacing, and it's more true there where they always had those double file restarts.
There they go.
Cautions breed cautions.
Oh,
Sideways was the 12. 3 wide.
61, 12,
What
and
a
39.
piece of driving by Parker as the 39 will drop all the way out of it.
Man, that's a lot of cars getting their lap back, man. Now a lot of guys would love to see another caution come out.
And with that, the 77 takes the lead. Oh, there goes the 88! There's the caution that everyone wants! Winter spins! They'll have the chance now to race back.
61.
The 77 your race leader.
No.
Actually, no, they won't race back.
The 61 was side by side with that 88 off of 4. The 61 hit the wall and it just it spun him out, or it spun the 88 out.
Pit road is open. Let's see if we get any takers, and I think everybody gonna, for the most part, stay on the racetrack.
Yeah. The 13, I think we'll get the lucky dog here. Is that a rule in this?
No, I don't think that there is because the lucky dog only got introduced to NASCAR because they stopped racing back.
Oh, okay. So yeah, never mind.
So the 13, who is scored as actually the 99's the first car lap down.
Oh, what? Then where's the 61? I thought he was first. Oh, he's 2 down.
These guys are all 2 laps down.
Oh. Huh. Interesting. But that's a blessing in disguise for the 2 and the 8. Because that puts the 2 and the 8 behind those race leaders instead of almost going a lap down. Don't think there's too much damage on the... Oh, yeah, there's a little bit on the right side. Him and the 61 just came together at a bad spot and just spun him around.
Let's see what happened. I think this one replay will tell the story of this tale. The 77 is a lead lap car, and he's the race leader actually at this point, trying to get around the 61, and it just seems that, as we've talked about all night, the 61 on the outside lane ends up in the outside wall, and you almost wonder, looks like it's going to be the same issue. He bounces off the wall, and the 88 has nowhere to go.
Yep,
and then the 88 just spins it, and the 25 gets a piece of it. And luckily, no one else hit him.
Winter's gonna have some words for me, but don't forget the 88 and 61. That was a race for position too, because they're both only 2 laps down. So they were going for what would have been the 14th spot.
And so now we still only have 8 cars on the lead lap.
But that puts all those 8 cars in the line, because remember before, the 7 and the 2 and the 8, they were in front of the leaders, but they were at risk of going a lap down. That puts them behind them, but it gives them a full lap to work with, and they're going to be right up with that 77, able to pass for the
Now
lead.
they have a shot at possibly winning this thing.
20 to go. It's going to be a 20-lap shootout.
And that's exactly what Ad didn't want to see, because he had just lost the lead when the caution flew.
Yep.
A lap car is definitely playing a factor in the late goings of this race. I think there are a fair amount of cars. There are actually only 4 cars scored only 1 lap down. So realistically, cars that could have a shot at getting back onto the lead lap are these 4 cars at the back: the 99, the 10, the 7, and then the 12.
Just crazy.
But they would have to pass everybody.
Flashy's looking to steal one here. He just kind of came out of nowhere. We didn't see him all day. He started towards the back. And now here he is, up leading this race.
What a strange turn of events. 1 second, the 39 has a huge lead over the rest of the field. Everybody starts pitting, and then all of a sudden the 4 loses it. The 18 gets into the wall, can't hold on to it, gets into the number 4. And then we get this.
And that leaves 8 cars on the lead lap for the remaining 19 laps of this race.
And the green flag flies once again. A big pack behind that's not going to end well.
54 in the wall, 18 in the wall.
2 sideways.
22, 61 are in the wall.
That's going to help out the 8 and the 2 make some free, easy passes. Sam Blaney in the outside wall. There goes the 8. Side by side with friend and former teammate Cole McElmoyle.
McElmoyle and Blaney have to be the slowest cars on the racetrack.
Now this right here, this is a
wins.
battle on the racetrack. It's the battle for 15th.
2's on
the wall. At least it was between the 13 and the 88, but that 88 car just drives off. And now race leader Flashy McClashy running off of this race.
He's got 7/10 of a gap to that 39 car, and he's got just less than 20 laps to hold it. 15 laps to hold that 7/10 lead, so.
And now we also gotta start talking about that point of no return. We talk about it every race, right around when we get close to that 10 to go mark. Here, I think it might be around 4 laps.
Yeah, 4 to go, so probably probably 10 laps from now would probably be the point of no return. 89 of 92, if the caution were to come out, I think this race would be called then and there.
The 18 side by side back here.
This is not for position. The 18 is on the lead lap.
Oh, he's not. Oh, wait, no, yes, he is.
He's 4th.
This is the 18 with a significant amount of damage, and that's this 2 car. He's currently scored as 5th. Man, oh man, could he get around 15? What big dividends in the championship points. Look who's on the lead lap.
The 54 car.
Coaster enthusiast. He's on the lead lap, which means that unless he were to get trapped a lap down, Coaster is going to get a pretty good point stay. At least in top 8.
That's really bad news for guys like the 39 and the 22. They needed Coaster to have a terrible day, but that 54, always consistent, never fails to finish in the top 10. And, well, here he is. He's one of only 8 cars in this field that are not trapped a lap down.
Oh! The 13 almost hit the 2! That was close.
Would have taken out another lead lap car.
I guess the safest driver right now. Bill, would you agree with me in stating that this car right here is the safest car on the racetrack?
I mean, I wouldn't even go that far because we've had guys, or we've had guys spin on or on the straightaway. Remember the 39 and the 26 just dumped them on the straightaway. The 26 still nearly hit the pace cars, so I'd go as far as saying there's no one safe on this racetrack right now.
Well, one thing you know for sure, the guy who's the happiest on the racetrack right now is and if not the most happy, the most stressed is that 77 car because he's got a lot to lose right now.
Well, he's only got about 3 or 4 laps until he hits the point of no return. And since we last talked about him about 10 laps ago, the 39's only gained 200ths on him. So, from as far as we're going now, from as fast as that, or slow as that 39 is catching, I think this race is all but over unless we get a caution right now.
And that 77 car, what are his points going to be looking like? We talked about him in the pre-race show, currently running 20th. And I mentioned that with the way that the points are, like 2nd through 20th, a good point stay. Oh, we got a car spinning.
No caution.
No caution for it.
Seemed to be the 12 of Parker.
Seemed to be the 12. We'll have to take a look at that once this race concludes.
Well, Flashy McClashy, you said about 2nd through 20th. Well, McClashy's running 22nd right now, so in points. So I don't know. He's about 200 points behind that car in 2nd. You get 135 for winning. I just don't think it'll be enough.
I don't know that it'll be enough to get him all the way up, but he'll have a shot at. He'll definitely move up quite a few spots if he wins today.
Most likely, yeah. Probably gain 5 or 6 spots from how close it is down towards the bottom there. He's at 1742, and 19th, just 4 spots ahead of him, is at 1771. So, and that's Ben Navarro, and he's running 10th right now. So we'll have to see.
Definitely things looking up for this 77 team. Lap 88 of 92.
About to hit the point of no return. Might have just add the 39 since we brought him up the last time. He is not caught. And he just dropped another 400, so he's dropped to 10th since we first brought up this battle for the lead.
And the 12 officially out of this race. So clearly something happened on the racetrack that prevented him from finishing this thing. There's the number 2 who's about to fall to the clutches of the 22. He nearly took him out there.
Well, that's what the 77 wants to hear. 22's bumper's off that thing. Oh, it's not anymore. Just visual glitch.
Yeah, visual glitch. But reminder that is a pass for position.
It is. That is 6th and 7th. 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's all. All 3 of those cars are on the lead lap.
And just ahead of them is the battle for 4th between the 14 and the 18.
Yeah, and then 2 lap cars in front of them, and the 25 and the 88. So we hit 3 to go. That is 9.5 seconds behind the leader. Sorry, 2 to go. We just hit 2 to go. 2's in the wall.
2's going to end up in the wall, and he's going to lose both spots.
He'll probably end up 8th in this one.
Here comes the 14. He's had several looks on the 18. Just can't quite complete the move. Gonna be side by. Oh! The 18 nearly took out the 14.
as we are about to
White
come
flag.
to the white flag.
One more time around, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Ad is not catching that 77. The 77, this last restart, he has been impeccable. Pulled out to the lead and hasn't looked back.
Late in this season, we've talked a lot about two-time winners. So far this season, only the 39 and the 18 have been able to do so, but the 77 gonna become the third driver this year to do so. He wins at Darlington. In the real Darlington race, not the one that I accidentally simmed.
Flashy's team timed it perfectly. They never gave up all day, started towards the back of this pack, but ended up being up front when it really mattered. Only led a couple of laps, but you know, he led that final one, and that's what really matters.
Well, before we lose this, I'm gonna just go ahead and actually Southern. I'm gonna save the replay because it was a darn good race, and I'm also going to hit done because now I can go back and watch the replay. So now the race is official. Let's take a look at some of those last couple of laps.
So I congratulate him.
Might as well.
Congrats too.
And I guess if he was here to give any announcements or anything, I guess he'd want to say that BHL, the official Minecraft Hockey League of the Southwest NASCAR Series, is open, and you can find a link. Well, there is no link to that in the description of this video, but there would be a link to that in the advertisements channel of the Southwest NASCAR Series Discord if you have Minecraft Java Edition and would be interested in playing. Keyword playing. Let's see what happens with this 12.
E-Rect with 9 to go. Oh, he got into it with Carlos Tavares.
7 was trying to make a... Let's see. Yeah, this is a battle for position. The 7 is 10th and the 12th is 9th. The 12 bounces off the wall like we've seen all night, and he just gets hooked.
Right into the... Oh, man.
And then
The
that
5
car
pulls him.
goes fully around, but it's well enough off the racetrack that I think NASCAR deemed it to be on the infield, and so the caution did not come out.
It's probably saying what happened with Payson Ganaban, and
Let's take a look at that as well.
he was better. You're going to be simming quite a few laps.
Here's a look at what happened. Caught my eye.
I don't think it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. It was a different one. No, this isn't the wreck with Payson and Ganaban.
No, yeah, that's the wreck that we talked about earlier that took out the 24.
Yeah, that looks very similar to the one that happened with the 12. No, it was a couple laps before, or it was many laps before that, but
that's the caution that killed everybody.
yeah.
Essentially. Because we had been in the middle of some green flag stops.
Have to see what lap it is. I'm not really sure. Oh, it was right around here because he pitted with Payson. I remember it. Yeah, right here. So it was just like 5 or 6 laps before he wrecked with the 24.
So we knew something was brewing.
He's already loose right here.
5 gets into the wall, and they almost go 3 wide here.
Yeah.
And I think they do go 3 wide. And that's kind of a mistake at this racetrack because unless you know for sure how your car is going to handle, it's not, or how the cars around you are going to handle, it's not the best idea to be 3 wide because they just
Yeah.
pinch and then everybody loses.
I guess NASCAR just figured they just got loose. But I mean, right here, that 5
Yeah,
car
well,
has done a full twirl already.
I think NASCAR deemed it to be that they were on the apron,
Yeah.
but
I mean, at one point, none of those cars were looking the right direction, so you figure that'd be enough to call the caution, but I guess not.
well, either way, it is what it is. The 77 of Flashy McClashy wins the race. And let's take a look at the unofficial results. These points are not final.
Oh.
The driver who wins the race is Flashy.
Flashy actually led the most Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. He led the most laps.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Flashy leads the most laps, just edging out Ad with
Wow.
by 1 lap.
So I can put that in as if it's 5 bonus points, right? Or is it 10?
I usually end up putting it as 10, so.
Okay.
10 bonus.
10.
And
There
then
you go.
I end up putting 185 for winning the race, and then 180.
That's all right. So wow. So by leading the last lap, Flashy McClashy ends up getting that 10 bonus points.
They're leading really the last 23.
Yeah. 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 You let all.
But next up on the schedule is a big wild card from Watkins Glen. And we hope that you tune in for that race. It's going to be an exciting one. I would personally like to thank you guys for tuning in. Until the next one, I'm Dean P. Alongside me has been Builder. Next race will be this Saturday from Watkins Glen International, followed by Talladega on Sunday. But until that time, you've been watching the Southwest NASCAR Sim Series. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.